We are on episode 12 of the Earn More Money Challenge. I'm very excited that we've gotten this far. You know, when you start something, anything, sometimes those doubts trickle in the mind and those negative voices. You think, oh, will I manage? It's the beginning of the year. Oh, maybe nobody is concerned about it. But I am concerned about you earning more money. And it's the reason why I had to overcome all those negative voices and get to do what I've purposed to do because I believe, and I know you believe too, that money affects every aspect of our lives. And it's a necessity. It's something that we need to win in. And winning with money is your birthright. If my money is not growing, it's causing me pain. I multiply my earnings this year. Our two hashtags that we've carried with us to date on this Earn More Money challenge. By now, we know that money grows through your personal effort. But today, I want to add another angle to it that aside from personal effort, at some level, at some level, you need to apply emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence refers to your ability to identify and manage your emotions as well as the emotions of others. But here today, I want to focus on your own emotions because when you're working on your big, hairy, audacious goal, your money goals, there's a level of emotions to it, and money is emotional. So it's important that we understand at what level do we need to apply our emotional intelligence. And before I proceed, I want to remind you to grab your self-evaluation workbook so that you put yourself in check, make yourself accountable, so that these things are just not good to listen to, but you are actually making tangible shifts to your desired money goals. Also, remember to share your comments, share your questions, your areas of struggle, what you'd like addressed, so that this building up of your big, hairy, audacious money goal is just not a mystery, but we actualize it. We make it a reality. We make this year different for you and me and the next person. And I hope you get to share with your friends, your family, your community, church community, your neighbors. Everyone needs to elevate their financial well being. And one big pillar towards that is to earn more, to build your income base. So, what I'm talking about today is find your lane, stay in that lane, and expand it. You've probably heard of the phrase, stay in your lane. And while we've all had it shouted at us a few times by friends and family members when we are driving, it's also a very relevant phrase in life, in career, in business. Staying in your lane simply means sticking with what you know and with what you're good at. But the question is, when is it appropriate to push the boundaries and try something completely wild and new? When should you stay in your lane? More often than not, it's helpful to leave the experimentation to others while you focus on your area of interest and in that area that you're good at. And I want to touch on why sometimes we get out of alignment, we get out of our lane. It's because of one of the reasons is that voice, that desire of I'll have what she or he is having. Yeah. I often marvel at my successful friends and family, and I am blessed to be surrounded by people who are growing, who are riding and near the top of their game. And they are continually reinventing themselves and expanding their capacity. And for the big lives they were meant to live and the impact they are made to have in this adventure we call life. And as a person who is continuing to unfold and evolve um, in my middle life, watching them brings a myriad of thoughts and emotions and actions that can be thought provoking and inspiring. And sometimes I think maybe if I emulate a few of the things they are doing, that might possibly work for me or get me to where I'm going faster. Maybe they know something that I don't, and I should be knowing. I'll have what she's having or what he's having. Ever been there? Ever thought like that? Where someone you admire is on a certain track and you wonder somewhere in your always seeking brain if you should be on that track too. The truth is, there are upsides to it. The upside of that is that you can learn a lot by observing and listening and following. And you can learn a lot on tried and proven tips and techniques to apply on your own work and career path. But there's a big downside to it. It can lead to that never ending a winner game called comparison, where you start looking at your life, comparing it to that person you admire or a career path that you might covet and even envy. And I want to quote Theodore Roosevelt, who said that comparison is the thief of joy. It's also the thief of success and certainly of self fulfillment. Comparison is an act of violence against self. The only it only leaves you in a puddle of dissatisfaction, of wanting more and frustration. But it's human to go there. I've been there some time back in that downward spiral of comparison. I started to question what path I was on. If perhaps I should be refocusing on some other similar direction, questioning all things, everything I was doing, timing, choices, that started to lead me in a tiny thoughts, to lead me to tiny thoughts of regret. And this was at time when I was going through my own money pains. So I was having all these doubtful thoughts in my head. And there is um, one thing I had to do was to t- was I had to do was to remind myself that this train of thought was going in a wrong direction. And thanks to the help of my mentors and my solitude time, which I value so much, I did some deep work around it. And I went underneath it, digging for the truths. And I eventually became clear to stick to my lane and expand it organically. And you find that whenever one ventures over into someone else's lane, where you want what she has or what he has, you find that beyond being inspired by them, you are left chasing their tail and spinning your wheels. Why? Because it's their lane, it's not yours. When you step back over into your lane, you are reminded of what you do, what you love, Yeah? And what you love about what you do, stay with that. Ground yourself in there, in the loving impact of your own lane. And this has made people make serious mistakes. Some people are busy back to school doing papers, doing courses that are not their lane because someone in the office is succeeding in that lane, but it's not yours. Someone has even, I remember of someone I know who even resigned from work, from a very good job, left work. Why? Because their friend seemed to have been succeeding in business and they burnt their fingers seriously, got themselves to a point where they were penniless. The business was literally shut down. Now they were back to job seeking, and the jobs were not coming. Stick to your lane and expand it. When you wake up every day working on your purpose, your lane, it just continues to widen and it elevates you. You become better as you elevate everyone around you. And by the way, one reason people misuse money and one reason people do not grow their money, earn more money, is because of loss of direction. When one tries to run in a lane that doesn't lead to their own purposeful work and is not in alignment with their own truth, the default setting goes to money, financial irresponsibility. And we make things so complicated in this comparison realm, this pesky devil. It robs us of living our most intentional and satisfying life. When seeking outside of ourselves, outside our lane, we follow someone else's lead down their road, ending up chasing a goal or dream that was never ours to begin with. Then we lose our way, our path, become less clear, albeit hidden behind something other than our own truth. We then try to override our most meaningful intentions by trying to make them fit a different outcome, rather than simply trusting the truth and the power within us. That power that led us to our lane. We need to trust it. And at this point, I want to speak to business people, entrepreneurs. As an entrepreneur, you are an expert or an aspiring expert in your field. But this doesn't necessarily mean you're great at everything. Nobody is. No matter how hard you focus on your business, there will be moments where you find yourself unprepared. But the thing is, successful business leaders spend their energy doing the things they already have a proven track record of succeeding in. If you do that, you can focus on your work and do the best job possible. But often, small business owners overextend themselves and in the process, their business suffers. Because this business is not bringing this revenue that I intend and I don't have a consistent source of income, I find I'm all over the place. Yeah, I'm doing this, I'm also supply this until you lose your identity. People cannot identify you with something specific that you do. To date, as a money coach, I still find myself people trying to entice me into things. Oh, this thing is very interesting. It does this, the other. But I say, no, I am a money coach. I stick to my lane. Yeah. So small businesses, You find you're all over the place looking for money. That is what we call chasing money. You forget your purpose. You no longer work on yourself, work on your business, work on that which you are good at, that which you started, and make it, be able to transform it, to make it, to transmute it into its monetary equivalent. So you touch everything else that you feel can uh, bring money, but you are an expert at nothing. So you want to be an expert in everything, but you end up being an expert at nothing. I work with a number of business owners. I've been privileged to have a number of people who are taking up the business coaching and consulting program. And I find a common theme with business owners, especially businesses that are struggling. They have lost their focus or try to do something which is completely out of their current capacity. Too many small businesses get lost in this wilderness, and are in the brink of failure. And a lot can be attributed to the fact that they have diverted from their course and now out of their area of genius. It is so important that business owners understand to stay in their lane and focus on their own race. When you started off in business, you had a vision, you had the enthusiasm, you were motivated, you had high energy. Yeah? And it's important to get yourself back there. Get yourself back there. You have to keep going, consistently performing uh, in your best, giving that business your best. The truth is, business can be boring and repetitive. You need to be consistent in your performance to ensure you are on the path to becoming a winner. And this requires you to focus and stay in your lane as you continue expanding it. So, when you are in your area of genius and consistently performing in this domain, you become a master in this domain, and you know how to run the race, and more importantly, how to win it. And you find in business, there'll often be distractions. The feeling that you need to diversify right away to remain fresh and to grow. Yeah? In it, and especially right now in this period of COVID, where many businesses were affected, were shut down, were cut down. So you may be feeling, oh, let me reinvent myself. But you have to reinvent yourself in what you know, in what you're good at. You can equally reinvent that same business and approach it differently, change strategy. So reinvention does not mean going into a space that is you're so lost in. Run your own race, stay in your lane, and more importantly, believe in your own genius. If you are the one who started that business, you can actually reinvent it and transmute new ideas in it that you can turn into the monetary equivalent you desire. Stay in your area of genius. Stay in your lane and develop consistent self discipline, consistent performance in that lane. Set us and how do you get back on track? Let's say you've lost track. You find maybe you are in your lane, you've gone into maybe network marketing, you've tried tried, it's not working. How do you come back in alignment? One thing that helped me was journaling, establishing my solitude time on a daily basis, and doing what we call effective journaling. In my money journal, there is a guide. It starts off by ideally defining for you what is effective journaling. What do you need to look out for? And the thing is, it has guided notes on the 5 areas you need to thrive on your money dynamics. It has the critical steps uh, you need to follow when journaling. Why do you need to journal? Why is it important? What is it that you need to look out for your journaling to be effective? And it's a very useful guide for uh, for you to make your journaling useful and aligned to what you're looking for. So journaling, I hope by now you have invested in your journal and you're making good use of it. It's not just not gathering dust somewhere in your home. So get still, find your footing again, then deal with what's right there. What you are seeing right in there inside of you, in front of you. Ask yourself, how can I use this to be a solution to a problem so that the world can pay you for it? Listen to your own inner wisdom. There's something in there. We were all created with something. God is a just, loving God. He gave each of us something. In there sits in your purpose. Remind yourself what you love, where you are amazing at, what you are amazing in doing. Remember the reasons you share what you share. Go back to be in alignment. Follow your heart's deepest intention. In there, when you do that effectively, you'll continue getting clarity on how you can begin to reawaken a dead business. When what you can begin to maintain your existing business, what you can do to upscale your business. Yeah? And the same applies to your career. When you are in solitude, you can begin to look and see, how can I grow in my career? Instead of taking a whole new career path, how can I grow in this? What can I do to get to my manager level, to a director level, to a CEO level, to a board level? What can I do? Within what you already have, you can actually yeah, quadruple your income, yeah, by giving more value. But you need to work on yourself. You need to know what you need to work on. That is why solitude and effective journaling is a very useful tool to get you to your next step. It's a wrap with me, Edith Sidondo, your money coach. I look forward to pour my heart to you tomorrow on episode 13 of our Earn More Money Challenge. Be intentional and stay in your lane as you expand it.